I'm super excited to be here at EXP here in Birmingham with two of the serious best real estate gurus that I have had the pleasure of welcoming to Waterford and bringing to Waterford. I'll start with Richard Rawlings. Richard, you were recently in Waterford in Ireland working with a group of great estate agents running a mastermind. So I want to ask you, Richard, if you were advising anyone in business or an estate agent, how do they command the fee that they deserve?
Well, you've got to be a charming, persuasive expert, I think. If you're hiring an estate agent, you want someone who really knows what they're doing, not someone who's just going to go in cheap or give you the highest price just to get your business, because that's not sound advice, and it always ends in tears. So if I was hiring an agent, I'd be looking for someone who's clearly an expert. They might give me a bit of a hard time, they might not tell me what I want to hear, but they know what they're talking about, and they don't mince their words, nor do they compromise on their fee either. I'd expect to go with a more expensive agent, just like I'd rather buy a more expensive car, I'd rather go on a more expensive holiday, I'd rather buy a more expensive pair of shoes. I would not be hiring a cheap agent.
And we've learned here at EXP that it's all about marketing now. We're marketing homes, we're not selling homes, we're marketing them. Do you think it's reasonable that somebody who's charging a very bargain basement fee is going to be able to provide all that sizzle, all that marketing, those beautiful photographs, and the negotiation skill? So what do you say to someone who wants to hire a cheap agent because they don't want to pay maybe the fee that they think is too expensive?
I mean, they might be able to do some of those things and possibly all of them, but at the end of the day, if they can't defend their own fee, what does that say about their ability to defend the value of the property? That's why you're hiring them, to get the most that you can out of the market. And if they don't have faith in themselves, are they going to have faith in the property? And that would be my main concern, as well as the fact they probably don't have the resources, if they're a little bit tight financially, to be able to hire the videographer, the better photographer, or whatever it might be.
I love that. If they don't have the ability to negotiate their own best fee, how the heck are they going to negotiate the best fee for the vendor?
Yeah.
They're going to give away, if they're going to give their own money away, imagine what they do with the vendor's money.
And also, they probably need to sort of stack them high, sell them cheap, because they need volume turnover, because they're not making much money on each one. And I don't be one of those that's stacked high and sold cheap. I want to be a cherished client, and I want that agent to do the very best for me. I'm not going to hire a rookie.
So your tip for a vendor is not to hire a rookie?
Absolutely. It's your one chance. How often do you move in your life? It's your biggest asset. You wouldn't put your Bentley on eBay, so why would you go to there are a lot of agents out there. If it was me, my house, I'd just find the best agent. And if it's a little bit more expensive or even quite a bit more expensive, still the right agent for me.
I love that. And do you think social proof is important?
What's the word? That Carlsberg, reassuringly expensive.
I love it. Or if you buy cheap, you buy twice.
Indeed, very often, because those types of agents also give you an overinflated expectation on asking price, and you sit on the market and you end up going stale on the market and having to reduce it. It doesn't work. Go to the pro.
Do you think there's a best timeline for sellers in terms of attracting interest?
The first few days and weeks. Literally, if it's over a few weeks old, it's beginning to go stale. You don't buy a donut a month before you expect to eat it, do you? If people want fresh and new, it's just come to the market, then they're going to make an asking price offer because it's brand new on the market, it's correctly priced, it's going to sell. The minute it goes, everyone says, how long has it been on the market? And if you can't answer that question, other than it's just come on, you're losing momentum, and that's such a shame, because a good property deserves to be sold quickly. And very often there's a direct relationship. The faster you sell, the higher the price you tend to get. There's three prices. There's the risky price, the right price, and the fast price. And those people who put their property on the market for the risky price usually end up selling for the fast price.
Absolutely amazing advice, guru advice. Thank you, Richard. Now I come directly to Mr. Graves. Please tell us, in terms of minding the money, can you give us some tips? But I am going to introduce Rob and say that Rob worked in corporate banking. He also worked for some very big corporate companies in real estate, then went on to set up his own business and sell it really successfully. Rob, what advice or what are you seeing out there in terms of companies maybe not making the profits that they deserve?
So I'm probably going to sound a little dull and boring, I'm afraid, Regina, with this one, because it's all about systems and processes. And I know that's not probably what people want to necessarily hear, but you can use systems and processes to leverage your business. And by becoming more effective, you can deliver better service to your customers, which I think is really important.
Absolutely, and that's been our experience in Liberty Blue Estate Agents in Waterford. We got some great insights and shares from Christian Byfield in London, and it revolutionised our business. But to take it one step further, you're coaching agents on how to improve their businesses, how to improve their profit margins. Any one share today that someone can actually start implementing?
So something that we did, Regina, I think I've bored you with this before, but something we did was every week we would look at one process, one system, and we'd look to try and make it better, more effective, more efficient. And if you do that weekly, by the end of the year, 52 weeks later, your processes and systems will be so much better, so much more efficient, and you leverage your business to create more profit and a better service.
I totally love that, and that is something that we're going to implement, or should I say I am. And I think that's very transferable for any industry, not just real estate. That look at how you work different processes and how we can improve them.
Yeah, no,
Agreed.
absolutely. I mean, most of what I do in terms of business consulting will probably fit any sort of business. It's just that I love estate agency, so that's what I focus on.
And as I say, turnover is vanity and profits reality. I'll ask for one last final nugget of wisdom before we part.
So probably my last one was, if you can look at the numbers, it'll tell you how efficient your processes and procedures are. So whenever you change something, it's really important that you then measure it. So any actions that you put in place, put a measure next to that action so that you can make sure it's actually making a difference.
I love it.
And what difference it's actually making.
Very good. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Richard, one last nugget of wisdom.
Hire a credible, proven expert who gives it to you straight talking, good advice.
I think that's brilliant. And I'll finish off and say I'm in business 28 years. I've always had a mentor. I've always had a coach. Richard's been over. Rob's coming over. We have a coach all the time in the business. It's helped us level up because we don't know what we don't know. Thanks for watching. Gurv Mila Magat.